This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, and for those of you who have been following cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology in general, you will know that there has been an incredible progression. There's been an amazing evolution to this technology since its inception. In fact, cryptocurrencies have done to cash what MP3s have done to CDs, and in fact, the applications for blockchain technology we're just in the beginning phases here. There's so much potential for this. And for those of you who have been watching this channel for quite some time, you'll know that I've often talked about blockchain technology being at a historical moment right now. It's almost like we've reached a fork in the road where this could go in a direction of, where the powers that be are interested in this and want to use it to enslave humanity, or this could completely empower humanity and free us from the clutches of these centralized planners. So today I am so pleased to be able to announce that I finally found a company that is taking this into that direction that's going to be able to empower humanity. And I'm talking, of course, about HiveBlockchain.com. And joining me on the line today is Lior Gantz. He is the founder of WealthResearchGroup.com, as one of the world's largest newsletters, financial newsletters. And he joins us today to talk a little bit about HiveBlockchain.com, which recently listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So this is a historical moment in the evolution of blockchain technology. So Lior, thank you so much, man, for taking some time to speak with us here today. I want to get your views on Hive Blockchain and where you see this company moving and what it seeks to do with blockchain technology. But before we get into that, maybe you could start us off by telling us a little bit about how you first got involved in this blockchain technology and how you got to the point of wanting to be so involved, investing your time and energy into a company like Hive.
Well, let's start with the fact that I'm 33 right now. I started investing when I was 16, and with regards to cryptocurrencies, what happened to me was that the summer of 2012. A friend who was a pretty wealthy investor showed me that in Colorado they're going to announce the legalization of cannabis real soon, and so I'm a seed investor in many companies, and I like to position myself early, and I flew down there to see what it's about. And when I was there, it was January of 2013. I was in Breckenridge, as a ski town. And I saw the booming cannabis industry just starting over there. But then I also saw that these people are using or investing in a new currency, a new cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. At that time, it was about, if I'm not mistaken, about $17 per coin. And in like a month after, when I bought it, it was $119. I sold. I thought I was the smartest guy in the world, right? 700% gain in like a month. And then I researched further into it. I used to go to a lot of the conferences, and in 2013 I got back in there when I was managing a boutique fund for like 20 well-to-do people that we got invested in Bitcoin at about 400. And we bought more at 800, and I liquidated the fund at the end of 2015 with a new resolve and passion that I didn't want to reach just 20 people and help them. I wanted to reach a broader audience, and that's why I launched and found the Wealth Research Group. It's a free financial newsletter. There's no threshold, and our idea, our goal, was to help people who wanted to build a financial fortress around themselves, around their family, around their future, to get educated about economics, about investments, about finance. And we also conduct our own due diligence on companies. So we do marathons for like 30 to 45 days where we look for specific opportunities. This would be in long-term investments, but it's also in the small cap sector where you can create enormous gains in a shorter amount of time. And so that's how I got to the point where this summer I spent a lot of time in Vancouver, looking at a few small cap opportunities, but the main thing that I really wanted was to find a company that will be the bridge between traditional investments and the crypto world. Because there's a lot of people who have a technology barrier and do not want to own a cryptocurrency, any of them, and store them with a wallet. They want to go with the traditional way and buy a publicly traded company that has potential and leverage towards blockchain technology. And that's what happened with Hive. Basically, it's a hybrid, and the name Hive came from the fact that when you go into these facilities that mine for cryptocurrencies, it's like a beehive. The noise is insane. And so they launched last week. I know you followed that, so you know that they listed for about 30 cents Canadian, and the first trade was about 74 Canadian that day, and it went all the way up to $2.27 Canadian. So at the top, and that's like a tripling your money or a 207% return. And I think the company has a lot more to go up. They just announced that bought deal financing, where some of the people that are coming in with the $30 million financing are one of them is the co-founder of PayPal. So it's a huge deal, and I think it's the purest blockchain company out there. They have partnered with Genesis Mining. They bought one facility from them, and they're mining Ethereum. Now, the way this company is structured, and by the way, if you want to get all the research on it, it's at wealthresearchgroup.com/must, MUST. But anyways, what they do is they pay for their operational costs, like everything that has to do with the company, and then whatever's left, they hoard. So they hoard whatever cryptocurrency is the most profitable to mine at this specific time. And they're going to expand into other facilities, so they're taking over other Genesis mining facilities in the future. The news will come out when it's going to come out. We don't know what's next for them, but they have a first right of refusal on 3 other facilities, and who knows? The future is very bright. As I said, it's the first and only pure blockchain company, and it's been a success. This past week, our subscribers are, they're very happy with what's going on.
Yeah, well, this is an amazing opportunity for investors, and not only that, but like you said, this is the chance to bring this technology to grandma who's nervous and leery of the technology and maybe is interested, but a little bit nervous about getting involved. So how does the company seek to bridge that gap between people who are maybe on the fence, maybe thinking, hey, this is interesting, but I don't know, it seems a little too technical for me. How are they going to bridge that gap? Because I think that is an important stage in the evolution of blockchain technology, is to remove that fear that people have about the unknown right now. Is that the aim of Hive Blockchain, is to kind of mainstream this?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, Dan, the idea is simple. Cryptocurrencies are a relatively new industry. So when you talk about the world-class experts or the people who've made successful mining operations, these are 6 or 7 year old companies, right? So it's a new industry, and the people who are the experts, they have a 6-year advantage over new people. The barrier of entry to open a competitive mining company right now and join the ranks of companies like Genesis Mining is very hard. You need startup capital. That's insane. It's not like the days where people used to mine from the PC. You can't do that anymore. You got to be real smart about it. And what Hive has done is they've taken Fiore Corporation. Fiore is a huge corporation that has its hands in many industries, and they've done successful businesses throughout the world. Whether it's entertainment, whether it's natural resources, so gold mining, etc. These are brilliant people that are behind Fiore, and they approached Genesis Mining, which is the largest privately held mining company for cryptocurrencies, and they essentially created a hybrid where Hive is a publicly traded vehicle where you and I can join forces and own part of the growth that the management expertise of Fiore and the crypto expertise of Genesis have brought together. So it's the perfect bridge and the perfect vehicle for people who are traditional investors who do not want to own a specific currency but want the expertise of the best people in the industry to help leverage the blockchain technology. And just remember, Hive is like I said, it's not only a bridge, but it's a company that has many opportunities for growth. So they can go into a lot of the new aspects of blockchain. Remember, mining, when you mine a token, and these tokens can be more than just cryptocurrencies. The second wave of blockchain companies will not only be in the cryptocurrency. The blockchain has broad attributes. So the next phase will be healthcare on the blockchain. So your personal information will be there. You will decide who to share this with. This will all need to get mined and built. And Hive would be that will be one of those pioneers. Right now, it's the only company. So that's the first to market is a huge advantage. Just think of the number one Coca-Cola company, right? It's Coca-Cola. Who's the second and third and fourth? We don't know, right? Because the first to market has this huge advantage. It's like that with any other industry. So, and obviously they're getting the word around right now, and in a few months to a year, serious brokerage firms, etc., would be approaching their clients about this. So this is very early, and you can research this company before it becomes it's still under the radar. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see this moving into an area, as I said earlier, that this company is going to be able to move us to an area with blockchain technology to be able to empower humanity and remove it out of the clutches of the centralized planners. You gave the example of healthcare. I think another interesting example where this technology can be applied is in the voting system. And if we have it in the hands of the right people, and not the government or the very people you're voting for, then we could have a peer-to-peer ledger-based system so that we could do away with voting fraud. I mean, how exciting is that with this technology? Is there other examples like that where people could start to understand how this is going to empower humanity and take control away from the government and put it into the hands of the individual? That's the exciting thing to me.
Here's the thing, right? The blockchain or decentralized database has been around since the 70s. So this is an idea whose time has come right now. It's blossoming right now because people are disgusted with the centralized system. Because there's nothing wrong with a centralized system per se, but when you abuse it, when you corrupt it, when you create a situation that the 1% of the population has this enormous advantage with regards to being closer to credit sources, with regards to being closer to government, to lobbying, to anything that they want. When you see this kind of divide in a world where wealth is abundant, it's just not organized in the right way. You can look at the third world and understand that wealth is not organized in the right way because these countries in the third world, they have many resources in the ground, but they never get to enjoy it. So the blockchain is going to take away power that has been around for thousands of years in the hands of a minority. When you create a decentralized database where it's shared on a global ledger, and you got $5 smartphones, Dan, coming in a matter of months, there's a population of about 3 billion people who will have smartphones in the next 2, 4, 5 years that have not even become part of the modern world yet. And these are things that will liberate not only the modern world, the Western world, but the third world countries. This is huge. Blockchain is the third wave of the internet. Domains were the first wave, then came social media, now it's blockchain. It's going to take a decade, but the idea is that this progress will not be stopped. And I can equate what's going on with the resistance, or what we call the Bitcoin obituaries that are all the time. That's it. China is going to close the exchanges, or you got all these naysayers. The idea is simple. When cars first came around, all these railroad magnates, they lobbied for the government so progress will be stopped, right? They created laws that every car, this is true, every car had a driver, an engineer, and a flagman running before the car, flagging that a car is coming. How inconvenient is that? They try to stop progress. When it's why Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, is calling Bitcoin a fraud, and teasing that his daughter has bought it, like girls can't make sound financial decisions or something. So he's not only being an asshole, but he's also being a sexist. And then he says that she feels like she's a genius. So now everyone who's buying Bitcoin he's equating them to dummies that everything's going right for them right now, but you never know. The reason he's going against this is because blockchain is going to disrupt the very thing that his industry is built on, and that's the power to control currency and issue it. So I can tell you on the flip side, I was just at a blockchain conference, and you got JP Morgan people all over there. They're part of the Ethereum alliance. So the idea that JP Morgan and all these other banks are resisting this, I can tell you, they're resisting it publicly, but on behind the scenes, they know that they can't stop what's going on. They need to adapt. The New York Stock Exchange is already a seed investor in Coinbase. The NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange are both prototyping blockchain platforms for trading stocks. So the stock market would be open 24/7, and not just on a few days a week and finite hours. The Australian, German, and Canadian stock exchanges are all prototyping blockchain technology. The goddamn Department of Defense is looking at blockchain for secured messaging. Look, it is what it is. It's just a matter of having the courage to be a pioneer investor. It's just the same way as with other pioneering industries like the legalization of cannabis, where you see that there's enormous opportunity. Obviously, cannabis is the fastest growing industry in the United States right now. So, with Wealth Research Group, what we try to do is we try to bring accurate information through our free newsletter to people, and then we also want to bring them specific opportunities, because the mainstream media is rigged against you. It's rigged against the middle class. It's owned by the elite for their agendas. It's business, and people have got to stop being naive about this. I know many of your listeners are very well educated; they know this, but you also have to take action. It's the next phase after knowing that there's a problem. I mean, the fact that the things are rigged don't mean that you can't do anything about it. I've proven that you can create a fortune by the age of 33 by knowing and applying information. So
absolutely.
Anyways.
And it's all about exactly knowing what the actual problem is and what the real solution ought to be. And I think one of the reasons why the banks are running scared right now and they're looking into this is because of movements such as, let's say, for example, the Occupy Wall Street movement back in 2012. That kind of kicked off people, this mentality of people wanting to get out in the streets and fight against the bankers, only their energy was directed in the wrong area. The 1%, the guys on Wall Street aren't the problem. It's the 0.001%. Now, if we could only direct that energy into having these people utilize blockchain technology in order to free them from these, centralized fiat, money out of nothing planners, then they would become completely free, and they'd realize that blockchain has been the answer for them. So for those people, how if they're listening to this right now and they go, you know what, you guys are right. That's the true solution. Decentralization is where it's at. And if you guys are endorsing Hive, then I want to check it out too. How do people get involved with this? Like if they want to either buy stock or you know, just learn about the company in general, what's the best places for them to go to get involved?
Well, with regards to Hive Blockchain Technologies, obviously you can visit the official website. You can also go to our more strategic analysis of this. Again, it's wealthresearchgroup.com/must MUST, and you can download our research on the company. With regards to buying the stock, I mean it's a normal stock. It trades on the Canadian Venture Stock Exchange, so this is the TSX Venture under the symbol Hive, HIVE, or it's listed on the U.S. Exchange, and that's on the ticker PRELF. Now that might change because when you go to the PRELF, it's going to show Lita Gold Corp, which is the predecessor corporation name. So once that changes, obviously it's going to be Hive. But essentially, when you buy a share of PRELF, Lita Gold Corp, it's Hive. If you have any issues or concern, just go to your broker or whatever you're using. I cannot give any personal advice or anything like that, but if there's any problem, you can also go to the contact us for the Wealth Research Group website, and we can kind of direct you. But again, this is something that I'm involved in because I believed in it, and I am not a financial advisor or anything like that. So that's important that you do your own research on this.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've been doing my own research too, and that's why, like I said in the beginning, I'm so excited about this one because this is the first time that I've come across a company that in my mind is leading society and mankind towards this area of being able to free themselves from the clutches of these centralized planners. So absolutely exciting time to be involved. Any final thoughts on not only where you'd like to see this go in the coming weeks and months, but on the future of blockchain technology in general, and how HiveBlockchain.com is going to be the vehicle to be able to bring people to where we need to go?
Well, I think Dan, the important thing here is to understand that there's a flawed system, a flawed payment system at work. The fiat monetary system, the way it is built today is by default. So there was a gold standard and a gold backing to all currencies from 1944 through to 1971 as a Bretton Woods agreement. Basically, what happened after the Second World War is that the United States became the only superpower that was democratic. You had the USSR, but that was communistic. So the majority of countries in the world saw the benefit of backing the US dollar with gold and then working with a reserve currency for all transactions. It's a very global world, and that sort of a system was very fitting. So one currency, so everyone can talk through one currency. It's very smart. And so they pegged $35 to 1 ounce of gold. Any government and any entity that was sovereign and wanted to exchange your dollars for gold could have. And what happened in the 50s and 60s is the United States started running deficit spending with the Korean War and with the Vietnam War. And in 1969, the French president started doubting that the convertibility of 35 to 1 really existed after the United States government has done all of these spendings. So he didn't believe that the gold was sufficient to cover the 5 to 1 ratio, and he demanded audits. You can go to YouTube and actually Google Charles de Gaulle talks about the gold standard, and you'll see how he speaks to his own people and say, "Hey, I don't trust these Americans." And so on the 15th of August, 1971, 46 years ago in 1 month, Richard Nixon took his chicken way out, and instead of creating a system that works, he said, look, we're suspending the convertibility of gold into dollars. or $2 into gold. I'm sorry. And in that instant, he made basically all currencies float against each other, but they don't have any tangible backing to them. So money or currency became from commodity-based to politically based. So that's why you see that currencies are traded with regards to stable economies. For Venezuela, the economy is very unstable. They're in hyperinflation. The U.S. economy is one of the world's biggest, and so the currency is pretty stable, right? It's much more stable than Venezuela, etc. But what we've got now is not commodity-based money and not politically based money. The next phase is mathematically based currency, which is cryptocurrency. And so you can program limitations into it so that you can't contract and expand it at will like the central banks do. And all of these innovations, the privacy, the speed of transaction, the global innovation, the fact that you don't have to get permission from anybody, the fact that you control your own currency is the future. And obviously the future of currency, not the future of money in itself. And then blockchain is what is the platform from all of these to run on. Without blockchain, you have no cryptocurrency world. So that's why the real power and the real innovation is in the blockchain. And therefore, a company that can take advantage of the growth of blockchain itself is going to be a very profitable investment if they can do it right. So obviously, like I said, you go to wealthresearchgroup.com/must. We are going to cover this company for the next few years as they grow and grow in the newsletter. So obviously, the newsletter has much more topics and ideas that we publish every 2-3 days. You can sign up for the free newsletter, or you can take us to a test drive and go to the website. There's a wide array of special reports that you can check out and download. Dan, look, the idea is that people in middle-class America are going to get wiped out in the next few years because inflation is going to tick up. The debt situation with regards to national debt in the U.S. and in other countries, underdeveloped countries, is horrible because of demographics. Demographics are becoming people are aging and they're living until 80, 90, 100. These countries cannot sustain the entitlements that they promised these people, and politics is going to change in an amazing way. And the problem is that when you have a debt-based system and a political based currency system with all of these problems, cryptocurrencies become much more important. Gold and silver become much more important. And that's what you're going to see. So if you do not create a financial future for yourself that has nothing to do with the government, you're going to really suffer in the next decade or two as this concept of retirement by entitlements becomes obsolete.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as I said, it does feel like it's a historical moment in the evolution of cryptocurrencies, and you want to be on the side, looking back in history, you want to be on the good side here. So, moving forward, blockchain technology, I think, is clearly going to be what can potentially free humanity from this enslavement that we've been under for so long. So I'm going to be following this as well over the next couple of weeks, months, maybe even years, following the progression of Hive blockchain. So thank you so much for bringing this to the attention of our audience here at Press for Truth. We'll be sure to have all the links in the description, and keep up the great work, man. Thanks for sharing your views on Hive today.
Hey.